IVM.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 41 of The Fighting G.O.A.T. This is Arjun Chipalkatti, aka The Mystic Chips, and along with my partner, Somesh, the Superhuman Kamra. We've had one heck of a week in the world of mixed martial arts and boxing, the launch of a new boxing league by the Indian Art Revolution called Hell's Bay Pro Boxing, a great UFC card that featured Jose Aldo and perennial contender Rob Font. A lot of drama and musty as well in that world of boxing, which we will get to right after this quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
Hey everybody, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Cyrus Says, Cyrus is joined by filmmaker and screenwriter Leena Yadav. She is the creator behind the acclaimed true crime Netflix series, House of Secrets, The Burari Deaths. It's a great episode, do check it out. On The Habit Coach, Ashton is joined by Lakshmi Tasaka, co-founder of Slay Coffee. They share a pretty interesting theory about coffee and share 4 ways to inculcate the coffee habit into your lives. We have Siddesh Gautam with us on Audio Gyan. Kedar talks to Siddesh about his aesthetics and the kinds of colors he uses in his artworks. On Non-Curry, Sadaf and Archit explore the world of besan, which can be cooked in both sweet and savory forms. And the Legend of the Month episode on The Fighting G.O.A.T. is back. Arjun and Somesh talk about UFC's longest reigning champion, Anderson Silva. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. And finally, do remember that many of our shows are available on YouTube. You can check that out by going to our website, ivmpodcast.com/YouTube, where we have a list of all of our various YouTube channels. Finally, we'd like to thank the sponsors on the network this week: Cred, Bank of Baroda, HDFC Mutual Fund, CoinSwitch, Kuber, Intel, and Oxfam India. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Welcome back to episode 41 of The Fighting G.O.A.T. You're listening to The Mystic Chips, Arjun Chipalkatti, along with my partner, Somesh, the Superhuman Kamra.
Namaste, Ji.
Namaste. Before we even get started on this entire thing, we have a little bit of a surprise. This Friday, Mr. Kamra and I are going to be part of a very exclusive, first time ever in the history of retail shopping.
Yes.
We are going to be the hosts of 3 shows on Friday. What is the date on Friday, Somesh?
It's the 10th of December.
Yes, sir. So on the 10th of December, Mr. Kamra and I are going to be doing a M Live, which is a Myntra Live, to sport athleisure and talk about all the stupid times where Govinda has made a fun of me and all about the masti of the world of MMA, and perhaps you'll get to see a few moves as well.
Absolutely.
Now, I mean, by no means are we fighters or anything, and it's not meant to be that kind of video, It's meant to be something fun. It's meant to talk about the kind of clothes. Athleisure, if you noticed, has become a big thing anyway now.
Absolutely. In fact, most of these people who come on the Kapil Sharma show, be it Siddharth Malhotra, be it, Ajay Devgan, be it Akshay Kumar, they all wear a certain kind of clothing. It's called athleisure. That particular department is called athleisure, which is athletic leisure wear. So you're actually, so you're sporty, but yet you're kind of comfortable. So it's an honor doing this with Arjun Chipalkatti, aka Mystic Chips, and myself, only on Myntra. So we're going to be live at 3 p.m., 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. You can download the app and watch us live, portray the best clothing, do some moves, do some musty, whilst you can shop live.
Yes, sir. So this is actually one big venture that's happening, and which is going to be a really, really fun thing. We have fingers crossed. We'll see. So guys, tune in. But apart from that, let's quickly get down. First, we're going to do the news of the week before we get to the meat.
Oh my God.
Firstly, hang on. Tommy Fury has pulled out. Tommy Fury, who is Tyson Fury's son or nephew, sorry.
Brother.
Oh, hang on. No, I thought, Tommy Fury is not his brother, yeah?
Tommy Fury is his brother. Yeah.
Brother, my mistake, brother. He looks like a kid. That's why.
Yeah.
And the Gypsy King looks a lot older than that.
Brother from another mother kind of thing.
Maybe. So anyway, Tommy Fury, who was scheduled to fight Jake Paul.
Yeah.
And that would have been actually, Somesh, Jake Paul's first legitimate boxer. Legitimate.
Yes.
As compared to the, him calling out all the wrestlers, retired wrestlers from the UFC.
The Ben Askrens and stuff.
The Ben Askrens and the Tyron Woodley, who cracked him, by the way. Yeah. And that's a funny part. So Tommy Fury pulled out due to injury. So everybody, so immediately Tyron Woodley has stepped in again for the rematch.
Correct.
Isn't that funny?
Well, it is going to be funny because this time it will be really funny if we see another bet going down where Jake Paul again tells him, in case you lose, you have to tattoo my name again on your body.
Yeah, it's seriously. I mean, but this time I don't know. Firstly, this time are people interested to watch it?
Well, I think they would be, because there was always that little banter going on between Tyron Woodley and Jake Paul, and surprisingly, Tyron Woodley lost to Jake Paul the last time. This time, I think he's coming in for a revenge, and hopefully, things turn out the other way and the hype train stops. Because, see, to be honest, I'm an absolute fan of the real sport. So I love boxing for boxing, man. Not for entertainment. All this for me is entertainment. I don't even see these fights, to be honest. I just watch the highlights, and eventually I just catch up on the results.
Hey, we got to watch it, man. We got to watch it.
This time, though, we should watch it.
We should watch it, because I mean, it's fun. Sometimes it's good to see the lighter side,
Absolutely.
But let's not confuse it for even one moment, because we got to see some incredible boxing. Australia's first boxer who's made it, who's become a champion.
Yes.
And we saw some incredible boxing happening all around the world, from the US to India to Middle East. We keep talking about, how boxing is coming up again. Somesh, do you know this guy, Kamal Mustafa?
Yes, I know the coach, right?
Who's a boxing trainer, boxing coach.
Yes.
In fact, he has a lot of accolades under his belt. He's a national medal winner.
Right.
He was an Olympic alternate. He did a lot of work in his life for boxing.
Right.
And I sat down for a chat with him earlier, and he was saying that he's like, dude, I agree. He's like, by the way, he says he heard our show and he's a fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
He would one day maybe like to come on. We'll have to certainly get him on as a guest one day to talk about the nuances of boxing.
Kudos to coach.
Kudos to the coach. And so he talked about how so many youths in India are, even though they're seeing the sport of MMA, have started. I saw a lot of these guys, okay, who, there were two titles on the line. There was the WBC India title.
That's right.
And then the WBC Silver Asia title.
Right.
Which was fought. And these boys have now adopted the North American approach of promotion, because they started talking better. They speak English. They're picking up the kind of style, the way to talk, the calling out fighters, the wanting. Not once did a guy say, oh, apart from, I fight for my coach, my pride, my country. He's like, I'm fighting for the money. I want the big ticket fights. I want to go fight in Vegas. My dream is to fight in Vegas. My dream is to fight in Macau. My dream is to fight in a big ticket event. So maybe, we keep saying, India we are slow starters, but when we catch up, we catch up.
Absolutely.
And
look at the ISL. The ISL, the Football League, is doing just that. It started off very slow, but right now it's picking up steam with the contract values going extremely high, with the players getting paid well. They're treated well. They have an entire season. Even though the season happens for, I think, 3 to 4 months in a year, they're training throughout the year. They're paid throughout the year. So I think it's a great first step.
Yeah, and so much. The funny thing is that this was happening at a stadium in Hyderabad, and I was hearing from a couple of the promoters saying that they haven't. This is not a free event. It was a ticketed event. And I said, really? So people have started paying for a live gate. Now the audience was not that great. Maybe there would have been about 1,500 to 2,000 people max.
But that's not bad.
But that's not bad for a start, and that's not bad for a new organization.
Right, absolutely.
And that too, not even for a marquee card. There's no Vijender Singh on the card.
Correct.
That to pull in the guys.
Correct.
And I was quite surprised that people still paid. So maybe there is a scope for, I think, in boxing, that people can have ticketed events. Maybe promoters can make some money off the gate.
Well, in fact, my thought on this is pretty simple. Now, the cost of a ticket to go to a movie theater is not less than $350. Wherever we go, it's usually between.
By which cheap theater are you going to here nowadays? So a box of popcorn costs $600.
So $350 to $450 is the cost of a ticket. So when you go there, you'll be having a samosa, you'll be having some popcorn. Yeah. So honestly, even
now you even get full Shezwan chicken or Shahjan chicken mil jata hai.
So my point is that on an average, you're spending anywhere from $650 to $800 per person.
$1,000.
If you go for a movie. Now, what happens in a sporting event, which is, the same, it's going to be about 3 hours long. It's a live event. There are multiple people out there. I think people have kind of shifted their focus. Instead of going for a movie, maybe they don't mind going for a show.
Maybe.
a boxing event or maybe an MMA event, because it's eventually a live show. There's going to be some prestige value out there. It's a lot more interactive. You can see the athletes. Sometimes you can meet them, take photos, build reels, all these things. So I think, these 2 years of the pandemic have taught people that maybe we can just go for the Netflix, Amazon Prime, and now instead of spending on a PVR or another movie or whatever of that sort, they can just go to a live event when the option is open. So I think the attitude is changing. I think it's good for the fraternity if there's a good number 2 entertainment segment in this country.
But the entire model is firstly, pay-per-view is yet to reach India. In terms of sport, nobody's going to pay. If people don't pay for cricket, they're not going to pay for any other sport.
Absolutely.
So, but the thing is, what I'm liking is that the focus of these sports is not in tier 1 cities like Bombay and Delhi. It's in tier 2 cities like the Rajkots and the Lucknows and the Hyderabad. They actually crave this kind of entertainment. But they're like, oh wow.
But also, Chips, I personally feel it also comes down to the taxes that are involved. Now maybe in the tier 2 cities, the municipal corporation may give a waiver on the taxes. Like,
I mean the crowd that enjoys the sport, not the hosting aspect.
Well, I personally believe if there's a rock band coming to Mumbai, I think it would be floodgated from day one. But honestly,
rock band different. I'm saying boxing event, for example.
The kind of taxes that are paid on entertainment are so high in the metros.
It's ridiculous. Bombay.
Maybe that's why, these promoters do not want to come to tier 1 cities. And like, why so?
No, but I think, it's when Super Fox Fight League came to, was doing it at Famous Studios and they had an audience. And then this is the reality of it.
But that was free, right?
All the marketing, even despite it being free, people didn't come because tier 1 city guys, people in Bombay have so many options of entertainment.
Very true.
That this is not part of their thought process. They're like, Acha, is Jacqueline Fernandez opening the show? Then I'll come maybe.
Right.
Or is Nora Fateh going to dance? Then I'll come maybe.
Right.
It's that thought process. So which is why there has to be an amalgamation, a mix of Bollywood and any sport in a city like Bombay. Whereas in Delhi and Punjab, you can just on the name of the boxers sell the entire event.
Correct.
And I've seen this in the north because people were breaking down the doors of Siri Fort to get in and see their guys.
Love it. I love it.
And Somesh, it was a stadium. It was a small stadium. Small by means it had a capacity of 15,000 people. But
that's huge.
18,000 people sitting there screaming. The rafters were rumbling. I couldn't hear myself in the commentary box.
Wow.
I couldn't hear myself. I was yelling and the fights. And when there was a knockout, holy shit, everything went ballistic. And I have to appreciate the Indian audience now because a lot of people were patient. There were no finishes in this card.
Right.
But there were strategic fights.
Correct.
Good strategic boxing. But that also, that will also change over time because fighters are also realizing that, eventually they have to learn how to put on a show.
Yes.
You can't. This is not a glorified sparring session. I understand it for a title fight. Absolutely understand it.
Yes.
Title fights, you got to do what you want because you want to win the title. You want to have the prestige. You want the money.
Right.
But for the rest, I think these guys are realizing that they need to go for broke.
Absolutely. And
you know who went for broke? Rob Font.
Oh, man. Rob Font, really. He went for the kill. But man, Jose Aldo, what did he pull off there?
Dude, I'm telling you, in a 3-round fight, nobody, I think apart from Peter Yan, nobody is beating Aldo in a 3-round fight.
Very
3-round fight. Nobody's beating.
Very true. So the last UFC card had a 35-year-old Jose Aldo who has dropped a weight category, who has had a resurgence, a unanimous decision, 50-45, 50-45, 49-46, which means all the judges had a clear decision.
He was, and almost in every round, he hurt him. Hurt him, he rocked him, he rattled him, he almost got the choke, but it's just his gas tank, man. The trouble is Aldo throws with everything. Yeah. He doesn't, there's nothing light. He throws to put your lights out.
Right. But he lasted 5 rounds and pretty much he finished the show.
He was fading badly after the 4th. And a lot of experts said, okay, it's not, firstly to do that to Aldo is not going to be easy. People are like, oh, you have to wrestle him in the first few rounds. I said, in the first few rounds, you have to get to Aldo first.
Yeah. He's
getting to
quick.
Aldo. Yeah. He's still so quick, man. He's still so fast.
It's almost 20.
Unreal.
It's almost 15 years of a fighting career.
Yeah.
multiple fights in different organizations.
No, he started when he was 7, no? Technically. Yeah, seven.
I think, oh man, I think he started when he was about 20, 21. So it's almost 14, 15 years of a professional fighting career. He's
Yeah,
35 years old. And man, that speed, he's equally motivated. He's dropping weight. There's no issue of him. There was a time where he could not make featherweight. He could not make 145. And right now he's making 135 with ease.
I mean, it's incredible considering that when he was 20 years old, this man faced Mike Brown at at WBC 44 for the belt and took Mike Brown to a decision when he was a kid, when he was an absolute kid. And the killer that he became and reigned for 10 years.
Unreal.
Over the featherweight division, it was something spectacular.
Unreal.
And to see him, standing at number 4 at bantamweight, just under the top 3 contenders is something spectacular. He's got a...
do you know one very interesting fact about Aldo? In his entire MMA career, he has never gone out of the first 10. He has always been in rank 1 to 10. Like from
top
champion.
10 fighter.
Yeah, he's always been a top 10 fighter till date. He's never gone out. Imagine.
Absolutely.
His worst phase, and obviously in his best phase, he was the champion for about 10 years. At his worst, he's never gone out of the top 10.
Even when he dropped those 2 losses to Max Holloway.
Yeah, 3 losses. He had 3 losses
to Max Holloway. I remember.
Yeah.
2 of them were to Max. And those were bad ones. Those were stoppages.
Yes.
Those were stoppages. Barrage of punches and just Max outworks everybody, man.
Yeah.
Max is going to outwork everybody in the world.
And the Peter Yan fight.
And the Peter Yan fight was hard to watch. That could have been stopped 2 rounds before.
Exactly. But imagine, that's the dedication of this guy. That's the kind of performance he brings on. That's the kind of motivation he has, man.
He does, man. He's somebody incredible. We're going to spot him in the Legends podcast one of these days.
Yes, for sure.
But in other news, in one last piece of news is, of course, everybody's been noticing how jacked Conor McGregor has gotten.
Yes.
He's had some people are making memes saying Ngannou's best next opponent is Conor McGregor. And I'm just like, okay, chill. Okay, that's clearly a joke. But honestly, I think he's prepping for something at welterweight.
What there's that one photo that he posted, where he's kind of grunged his mouth.
Dude, his face is looking huge also.
Doesn't he look like Popeye?
A little bit.
He's looking jacked, man. He's looking jacked.
Then who's olive oil? So Conor, whatever resurgence he's in, he's getting jacked. He's probably putting on the muscle mass. He realized that he was not sitting down on his shots. He didn't have that power anymore. And maybe that happens as you grow older, whatever.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, I heard a little bit of news from another podcast that this is all speculation. We don't know. There are rumors that Dana White might be considering a Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor fight.
Oh my God. But that's going to be at lightweight. That's at 155, right?
No. Chandler can go up to welter.
Oh my God. That's going to be pretty... I was in fact thinking of McGregor versus Khamzat at 170.
No, man. Khamzat Chimaev right now. No. I mean, I love Conor and I really want to see... Honestly, look, I want Conor. Conor's already been a 2-time champion.
Yeah.
So screw the belt, screw whatever. Just go in and do the marquee fun fights. Now, go fight Diaz one more time. Go fight Chandler. Go fight Gaethje if he's free. Let's have some fun here. It's fun. I think you owe the fans this. But as he wrote, in the Conor, Dana White was on the Brewster podcast, where he was saying that he was, Conor's unfinished business, and Conor replied on a tweet saying that he's like, I absolutely have unfinished business. And I know who he's referring to. Win-lose, I don't know what happens this coming Sunday with Dustin Poirier, whether he becomes champion or not. But I think Conor McGregor wants one chance more at him.
Man, that's crazy.
What do you think about Chandler Conor, man?
Oh, man, I think it's killer. But I do feel it should happen at lightweight, which is 155 pounds. And it should not happen at 170. But having said that, we've got some banging information coming up. Let us speak. You know what? There are so many people talking to us and writing to us about the value of an undefeated fighter versus an exciting fighter. That coming up after this short commercial break where Mystic Chips and Superhuman Kamra get on a intense discussion of undefeated fighters versus exciting fighters. See you on the other side.
पेश खिदमत है आपकी शान में हमारे अंजुमन से. Hi, I am Sadaf.
And I'm Arshit. खाने का इतिहास, economics, policy, psychology, सब है मेन्यू पे.
Only on the Nankali podcast every Wednesday. सिर्फ IVM podcast ऐप या वेबसाइट पर या फिर जहां से भी आप अपने पॉडकास्ट सुनते हो.
Welcome back to episode 41. You've been listening to Arjun, aka Mystic Chips, and Somesh, the Superhuman Kamra, only on the Fighting Goat, available on IVM podcasts, exclusively all across major multiple platforms. And now we've been talking, what a great week we had, what great new boxing, great MMA. But we come back, and Somesh, you might be right. Maybe I've talked about this in the past with you separately, maybe not on the podcast.
Yeah.
We've always compared old school to new school. We've always compared old school fighters to new school fighters.
Right.
We compare old school fans to new school fans.
Right.
And I think there's one thing here where I think a lot of fans have started putting pressure on fighters and judging them by their records of defeats to wins.
Yes.
I think that is in the case. Okay, the biggest example that we can open with is the retirement of Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now, Khabib is 32 years old. That's, some people consider that not even the prime yet. Not even the prime yet.
Yeah. Well, in India, it's the age to get married.
No. India, the age to get married is when Aldo won the belt when he was 21. That is the age to get married. Right? Especially if you're Sindhi Marwadi, which Mr. Kamra is. So,
oh God, yeah.
21 is the age to get married. So,
very true. But I got married at the age of 27, by the way.
That's the South Indian age.
Yeah. So basically, I'm off the market, but Chips is available.
No, I have done wrong by my family by not getting married early. Anyway, so Khabib, he had a great reign. He's a great champion. He was undefeated. But do you think he focused more on the aspect of remaining undefeated vis-a-vis, look at Silva when he was in his prime. Okay, he jumped up weight classes to take on challengers like Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner, James Irwin at that light heavyweight division. He wasn't afraid to say, okay, I'll step in on short notice against Daniel Cormier.
Right.
Or anything. And I think that is a mentality where nobody cared about the defeated or undefeated aspect.
Well, Chips, we have in fact spoken about this. There's a difference between fighters and fighters. Now, when we speak about the fighters who came out to fight, like the Hungary division, we obviously, speak about the Wanderlei Silvas, the guys who really didn't care about records. Like we speak about the Diaz brothers.
Chuck Liddell.
They just came out there to put on a show because that was inbuilt in them. Now, say someone like Khabib, when we speak about Khabib, we talk about the dominant wrestling, we talk about the ground and pound, and then we talk about the record. But when we speak of Khabib, we never talk about his opponents. Because to be honest, he's got maybe 2 or 3 opponents, good ones that he's beaten.
Barboza, Michael Johnson, Poirier, Gaethje.
Michael Johnson, I would say, okay, fine. But I would say Conor, Gaethje,
Ally Quinta,
Poirier. But see, the Ally Quinta fight was on 4 days' notice. It went all the 5 rounds.
Yeah, and Al stuffed his takedowns, funnily enough.
I would not call them marquee great fighters or great wins. Okay, fine. Great fighters, but not great wins.
And Michael Johnson actually hurt him. I remember
he
Khabib
did.
getting stiffened up by that one shot.
Mm-hmm.
He got badly stiffened up, and then of course it was over. But okay, then Khabib is one example where his record being undefeated was so important that he left the sport. Now he cited many reasons, and I'm sure I'll get a lot of flack for this. But he cited all the reasons in the world, saying that it was such a sad moment when he lost his father to COVID.
Right.
And it was a sad moment, for a lot of people. A lot of people in the world had lost someone during COVID.
Right.
Which is still on, so stay safe, everybody.
Right.
But my point is that I think somewhere that may have messed up with his mind. And that has made him quit more than anything else.
But see, do you think someone like Khabib, who talks about mental strength, at some level, do you think he is that weak in his mind, or do you think at
No,
some level, there was also that fact that I don't want to lose my O. 29-0, of course, is no joke. He's done a great performance, but maybe 32, 33-0 would be great. But if he had that one loss, it would be that big taint on his O record. Do you think he was trying to avoid that at some level?
I think, I don't know what to say, because we always talk about how fighters change after their losses.
Yeah.
After how fighters change after losses. Undefeated fighter is fearless. He's always, because he doesn't know what losing is.
Right.
And I think it's important to lose somewhere. Even the greatest in the world, Anderson has lost.
Yes.
And when his losses taught him more than his wins ever would, because it's his losses earlier in his career which made him so dominant later. Then he went on his 16-fight win streak.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And same with Kumar Usman. He also lost earlier and then he's become so dominant.
Right.
It's the losses in that make, the future. It's how you react from the losses. So maybe there are fighters, you saw what happened to Ronda Rousey. She lost and then she was lost.
Yeah, it just changed her career path whatsoever.
No matter what she did, she's never the same again.
Right. But see, coming back to the undefeated fighters, when we speak of being undefeated, do you think there's that added pressure where the fighter doesn't want to lose that zero, so he picks and chooses his fights, versus looking at an entertaining career for, say, the next 3 years or 4 years? Like, honestly, look at the undefeated fighters who are there right now. Like, honestly, you don't even know them. There's a guy called Bryce Mitchell. I mean, do we even know him?
Of course I know Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't. There's a guy called Movsar Ivalov. I mean, honestly, I don't even know who he is. There's Sean Brady, who's 14-0. Who I know. There's Askar Askarov, who's another 14-0.
Yes, I know.
So, I mean, great. Like Jack Shore, I don't even know who he is, like 13-0.
Yeah, but it's one needs to see the manner in which these guys fought.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're gonna go and take someone down and hold them down for 3 rounds and say, okay, I won, cool. I mean, that's your game. But at the end of the day, is anybody going to remember you?
Well, not at all. But on the flip side, if I look at some of the fighters who I think are exciting, but yet defeated at some level, let's talk about Nick Diaz. Let's talk about Shogun Rua. Let's talk about Junior Dos Santos. Let's talk about BJ Penn. Let's talk about Chuck Liddell. There is John
Lyoto
Jones,
Machida,
who's also,
Even Lyoto Machida, the man who was undefeated, one of the first guys who was so undefeated in the karate stance and the puzzle, the mystery. He got defeated, but then he came back.
Yes, absolutely. Wanderlei Silva, Showtime Pettis. I mean, I don't even need to have these names written because I just remember them for the wars that they've had, not because of the undefeated record. These guys are so skilled. They are such good fighters that they don't care about whether they win or lose. They're out there to fight.
Exactly.
If you're out there for records, honestly, you can play or fight any other sport.
Exactly. And I'm going to remember Fedor Emelianenko, regardless of his tap to Verdum.
Absolutely.
Regardless that he tapped to Verdum, nobody gives a crap.
Nobody. 40-6. 40 wins, 6 losses.
He was undefeated forever, but he fought like he had nothing to lose.
And he still does. He's still fighting.
And he's still fighting. In fact, he's looking in better shape now, to be honest.
He is. In fact, Bellator is getting to Moscow sometime in 2022 for Fedor's last fight. But somehow I feel it's not going to be his last fight.
I think people like that will never want to stop fighting.
Yeah.
It's they'll pick and choose. He'll go to an exhibition in Japan again for fun. He'll go do some time pass somewhere. He'll do a Sambo tournament here and there.
Absolutely.
But the funny thing here is that now for example, even Islam Makhachev, 9 fight, who's there? I mean, Dan Hooker's the biggest name.
Yes, Dan Hooker is the biggest name who I think stepped up on short notice. His next fight, however, I think is going to be his biggest challenge versus Beneil Dariush.
Now, that is going to be a fight. And Team Khabib has already been talking about it,
Yes.
And Beneil was talking on some podcast about, he's like, Khabib is trying to drum up drama. He's going to do the drama. He's like, if when Islam wins, he's going to be guaranteed a title shot and a double bonus from Dana White.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and the kind of approach that Beneil had, he's like, listen, the UFC is a business, and the promoters and the bosses, I don't know if they'll give me a title shot. It all depends on who is the best to be promoted at the time.
Correct.
And that is such a intelligent and mature way of thinking.
Because he is intelligent.
He is so intelligent, and this is and he's like, man, he's got that. Who he reminds me of? The calmness of Gegard Mousasi.
Yes.
Mousasi used to not even breathe heavy. He used to be like, theek hai, hoga.
Yes.
And the way he was in the interview, he's like, I'm not afraid of the grappling. Like, I am also a grappler, but he's not going to be able to bully me.
In fact, a rank 3, Beneil Dariush is saying, so people are hyping up Islam, but his striking is average. I'm better. His grappling is good, but I'm better. In fact, a rank 3 is kind of hyping himself up versus a rank 6 or 7 or whatever Islam is, So
I think now Islam is a rank 5 now. After that win against Hooker.
It's quite unfair just because he doesn't hype up the fights and he's not a showman. It's sad to see, him marketing himself versus, the organization or other reporters or his camp or whatever hyping him up, because Islam anyways has a hype behind him.
No, his hype is justified, but at the same time, we have yet to see him against a tough contender with a full camp.
Yes.
We're yet to see him. And he couldn't have got a better fight in Beneil Dariush, because
absolutely,
Dariush is a great grappler. He's dangerous on the ground.
Absolutely.
And he's not going to get bullied. In fact, you remember when Michael Chiesa fought Vicente Luque?
Yeah.
Everybody said, oh man, Vicente Chiesa is such a dangerous grappler. He's such a perfect takedown artist and submission artist.
Right.
What happened?
He got choked out.
Vicente Luque caught him in a fucking Das choke in the first minute.
Yeah.
And surprised him and choked him out.
And today's his birthday, so happy birthday, Michael Chiesa.
Hey, happy birthday. Oh, by the way, Somesh, Kamra and I at the Fighting Goat would like to give a big shout out to Amir King Khan. It's his birthday.
Oh, Amir King Khan, happy birthday, man.
Yes, happy birthday, Amir King Khan.
Have a great one, and looking forward on having you on the Fighting Goat very soon.
He said it. He has to be there now. He said it. He said it on my Instagram live. He said it.
Honestly, even if he says no, we can't do anything to him. Yeah.
I mean, his fight is on February 22nd against Brooks in Vegas. He's in training camp. He's focused. He's dedicated. So we wish him all the best for his fight. Before or after, we're still going to get him on the show.
Absolutely. And moving on, we would love to hear from all of you. Do you think an undefeated fighter has more prestige / excitement, or is it someone who just goes out there and brawl? For all of this, please tag us and hashtag us, Arjun Chips and Somesh Kamra and IVM Podcast, and we would love to hear from you. There's some exciting merchandise to be given to all of you out there, some t-shirts, some mugs, some caps, but you need to tag us and hashtag us across all social media platforms. Now, having said that, we're coming up to the last pay-per-view event of the year, UFC.
So sad, yeah.
UFC 269, where Arjun Chips and me, Superhuman Kamra, we're going to be in the studios this Sunday.
Oh, one-hour special.
It's a one-hour special, but all of that is coming up after this short commercial break. See you on the other side. Stay tuned for predictions, more gifts, more hampers, but only if you tag and hashtag us. See you on the other side.
Habits? Routines? How exactly do they help us get better? Well, to simplify it for you, tune in to the Habit Coach podcast. I am Ashton Doctor, and I'm going to be here to help you get better daily with some simple, easy to do habits that you can easily adapt to your life. So tune in to the Habit Coach podcast from Monday to Friday, because I believe that awesome lives start with awesome habits.
Welcome back to episode 41 of The Fighting Goat. You've been listening to Mystic Chips, Arjun Chipalkatti and Somesh Kamra for the past 45 minutes, I must say. We've had some great discussions so far, my friend. A lot of fighting, a lot of talking, a lot of legacies, a lot of unfinished businesses.
Yes.
And speaking of something that is going to be happening, that is the most incredible fight card coming up, with one of the most favorite fighters of Mr. Kamra's in the, one of the most favorite. What's his name, Somesh?
Hey,
he got a private jet drop now this time.
You I'm now beginning to hate you.
But his jet is good, huh? He looks good when he came out of the jet.
I am only a friend because you have membership to Chambers. Like the Chamber Golf Club.
Golf club, totally Chamber Golf. Isliye na, where we eat the hara bhara kebabs and the lovely beer and all that.
For cheap.
For really cheap. No, what is that? What is that thing I drink? Red Bliss, Red Mist. That thing that gives you night blindness in one eye.
Yeah, whatever that's worth $40 a large.
Yeah, $40 large. In like 10 drinks, you're like gone. It's आपका bill says ₹450.
10? Are you mad? In 3 drinks it starts tasting like battery water.
No. In 3 drinks, first kicks in the numbness on the left hand side. Then after the second 3 drinks, you get night blindness. You can't see very well anymore. And it's not the drunk, you're totally sober. And after that comes later.
Oh God. But yes, so we're going to be having, so this week is so crazy because we have the last pay-per-view of the year, UFC 269 on December 12th. It's going live where Arjun Chips and me are going on Sony TV. I think it's going to be Sony 10.1, Sony 10.3 at 7:30 a.m.
Sony 10.2 or Sony 10.1?
Sony kahin na kahin to hoga yaar, mujhe kya pata.
Check all 3, guys.
Yeah.
Check all 3.
But we are also going live on Myntra, which is this Friday, 10th of December,
Yes,
with the new Athleisure collection where they have signed us on to do live shopping with you. So much happening this week. It's going to be crazy. Stay tuned to our social media handles because we're going to be posting BTS, reels, live videos for all of you to get your favorite athletic clothing out there. But Chips, let's get straight
into the card, man.
269. So let me just first spell the card out. Bantamweight division, opening the card with Sugar Sean O'Malley and Raulian Paiva. Paiva. We have Kai Kara France and Cody Garbrandt.
Oh my God, that's going to be a banger.
In the flyweight division, the welterweight.
It's Cody's first fight in the
debut.
flyweight.
Yes, it's his debut in the flyweight division. The welterweight division has Geoff Neal and Santiago Ponzinibbio.
Oh my God, the Pawn Man.
The co-main event of the evening is the champ Amanda Nunes taking on Juliana, Venezuelan vixen Pena, and the main event of
That's
the
gonna
evening
be good.
in the lightweight division where Charles Oliveira is defending his belt against former champ Dustin the Diamond Poirier.
Holy shit!
I'm sweating already.
It's a card. It's a hell of a card.
It's a banging card. It's starting at 8:30 a.m. India time, the main card. But the main part before that is we are going live on Sony 10.1, Sony 10.2, Sony 10.3 at 7:30 a.m.
7:30 a.m. Both Mystic Chips and the Superhuman will be live. We'll be giving you analysis, tips, and of course we'll be making our famous predictions where I have been winning for what seems like the last decade now. So,
well, it will be like some,
we had to stop the contest because of the unfairness to Mr. Kamra. He complained off scene saying that we are bus now.
Well, it had come to a time where I had to tell IVM, listen, cut this guy's money now. 50% cut.
No, but this is actually, it's fun. We play these games where we try and use analysis to predict. But at the same time, it's such an unpredictable sport because anything can happen. Anything can happen. You favor the odds and see how it goes. But always, guys, remember your predictions. You do the same thing that we do. You make the predictions and tag us on social media. And I promise you're going to see some merchandise coming your way.
Absolutely.
Right or wrong, you'll see some merchandise coming.
Absolutely. Chips, there is one other thing that I forgot. The prelim card also.
Oh, yes.
Is extremely crazy where we have got Tai Tuivasa and Augusto Sakai. In the heavyweight division. Dominic Cruz and Pedro Munoz in the bantamweight division. And we have got Josh Emmett and Dan Ige in the featherweight division. This is on the prelims of UFC 269.
Dan Ige is in the prelims. Dominic Cruz versus Pedro Munoz. Pedro Munoz who just fought Aldo a couple of months back.
Absolutely. The pre-prelims has Alex Perez. It has Eric Anders. Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall in the pre-prelims.
My God, it's a fully stacked card from top to bottom. But we will be only covering the main card, which opens at 7:30 a.m. with the Ultimate Guide to UFC. And of course, we are talking about it right now. on the Fighting GOAT. So, Somesh, let's get into it. Ranked 20th. I don't even know who Sugar Sean O'Malley is fighting, to be honest. He's a unranked opponent who is, I think he's out of the top 20, right?
Yes, he is. Raulian Paiva.
Raulian Paiva, I've seen some tape on this guy. This guy's tough. Just like how Chris Moutinho brought the fight to Sugar Sean, I hope Paiva has got a chance. I think all these guys are realizing that they're facing off against a special fighter in Sugar Sean O'Malley. Sugar Sean, say what you want about him, he still fights well. He's he's lengthy, he's long, he fights, he uses his reach perfectly,
and he hits
and
hard.
He's got some power in those shots as well. So let's see what happens, man. I mean, we said the same thing with Chito Vera, but Chito Vera took it to him and beat him down. So we're going to find out what happens. Who you got?
Well, stylistically speaking, it's a great fight, but I don't think Paiva will get past Sugar Sean O'Malley.
I'm going to give it to Paiva.
Ooh.
I smell an upset.
Well, one sec. If that happens, then the entire punch bookie treat is on me.
Okay, hang on. This is on TV, yeah? Now this is heard now.
This is on tape.
It's on tape, sorry.
If Paiva beats Sugar Sean O'Malley this Sunday in India.
Anyway, 3-round fight, it could be by decision.
Anyway, if he, whatever, even if Sean O'Malley gets injured.
Okay, done. Chalo. Those odds are good. Very good.
Yeah. Then I'm footing the bill for chips at Panchmukhi.
Done.
But no parcel, huh?
No parcel.
You can't say teen chicken chili parcel.
No, chicken garlic.
Garlic chicken. Anyways, moving on to the next spicy fight, Kai Kara France and Cody Garbrandt.
Man, Kai Kara France is such an incredible fighter. The speed of these guys is incredible. And it'll be interesting to see if Cody Garbrandt is going to bring down that heat, that power that he brought in from bantamweight. Is he going to be bringing that to the flyweights?
Yeah.
Because that's going to get interesting. Because you remember how hard Cody Garbrandt hits, man.
Oh, man.
It was amazing the way he beat Dominic Cruz for the belt when he first came out of the scene.
Yes.
And now he's making his resurgence in the flyweights. Looks good. And you know what? Either man could knock each other out. You never know.
Absolutely. In fact, he has dropped one weight class. He is right now in the flyweight division, which is 125 pounds. The only two people in this category that have such power, according to me, are Cody Garbrandt and the former UFC fighter called John Lineker, who was called Hands of Stone. Because he
I remember
he used to drop people with his left hook. He didn't even need his power side.
Davison Figueiredo as well has got the power, man.
Yeah. Oh yes.
He's got the power. He's got. I've got the power.
I still feel it's not Garbrandt and Lineker.
No, it's
power.
not. No, it's not Garbrandt power.
However, Chips, let's get into the prediction. Kai Kara France taking on Cody Garbrandt. Who's it for you?
I'm sentimental, man. I love Cody Garbrandt. I really want him to win. And yeah, I'm going to pick Cody.
Interesting pick. I think for this one, I'm going to go for Kai Kara France.
My mind says Kai Kara France, but my heart says Cody. But I'm going with Cody.
Perfect. So we are right now opposite sides of the game so far.
Yes.
Next one, welterweight, Geoff Neal and Santiago Ponzinibbio.
It's the pawn man all the way, bro. That guy is there to take your head off. And he also does it. He also been knocked out in the past.
Yeah,
it doesn't make a difference to him. He comes to fight and he brings it. So Geoff Neal is in as tough as Geoff Neal is. Man, Ponzinibbio is tough.
Wow. Okay, so Chips and me are definitely on two sides of the boat because I'm going for Geoff Neal for this one. I love Santiago, but I feel Geoff Neal has the weapons to pull it off.
Let's see.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's getting heated up now. This is exactly the opposite. Women's bantamweight division for the title.
This is easy, man.
Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena.
Juliana Pena is a winner of the Ultimate Fighter.
Yes.
The women's edition, which came out many, many years ago. I think it was the season where Ronda Rousey and Misha Tate
were the coaches. Yes.
Yeah. And Juliana Pena had incredible grappling. She has incredible grappling and she's been developing that. Unfortunately, due to her knee injury, her career was sidelined for 2 years, but came back with a bang. But that being said, she doesn't have a tough task. She has an impossible task in front of her.
Really? You
as
think
Amanda Nunes, man. Whatever anybody does well, Amanda does better. If you think you wrestle, Amanda wrestles better. If you think you can submit people, Amanda will submit you better. if you think you can strike, Amanda will send you into the crescent moon, astral traveling into tomorrow.
Well, I love those terms, but so I'm assuming you're saying and still.
And still, dude.
And still. Well, Superhuman Kamra also is this time on the same boat as Arjun, aka Mystic Chips. I think it's going to be Amanda Nunes and still.
Amanda Nunes by whatever way she wants.
However, now the main event of the evening is for the lightweight belt
between
Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier.
Oh my God. Well, you know what? Both, it's such a styles make fights kind of thing. Dustin Poirier has come, it's such a long way. He's built up. He started his career at featherweight, is now fighting for that lightweight belt. This is something he's going to try and realize, a dream that he's wanted. He's worked hard. He's found his weight, his perfect weight at lightweight. He's strong. He's tough. He's gritty. He can take a punch. Is solid on the ground. The only time we saw him in a moment of weakness was against the former champion Khabib Nurmagomedov. But then again, it's Khabib's grappling. So, it's superlative. Nobody gets out of it. But True. At the same time, you've got a phenom in Charles Oliveira, who's been sneakily behind the scenes building up a career. He's had more than 20 fights. And even in the face of adversity, he took humongous shots from Chandler. And from Michael Chandler, and still survived and came back and knocked him out.
Yes.
That was the funny thing. Something that even G.O.A.T couldn't do with his power. So that is going to be an interesting thing to see. What is going to happen now? What is going to happen? Does Dustin Poirier keep it on the feet? Or is Charles Oliveira? The thing is, you can't make a mistake with Charles. You cannot on the ground. You cannot. True. Yeah, I don't want to say.
You know what? There was a nice pause out there. I was like, okay, now Chips is going to make his prediction, but but he started scratching his eye.
I'm going to say it goes the distance. It's going to be Charles Oliveira by decision.
Oh, that's a very interesting prediction. Plus, the way he's going to win. You know what? That analysis that you gave was so spot on. I'm actually thinking now. Initially, when I saw this fight, I thought maybe Dustin Poirier could just upset the champion. But I feel it's going to be and still. I think Charles Oliveira is hungrier. He's grittier. He doesn't have charity organizations. He lives in a small house. He knows what it means to keep that belt. I think Charles Oliveira retains the belt.
I think Charles retains the belt too, unless, freak things can happen. I don't think Dustin can catch you with a barrage of shots. No doubt. He can do that. He's got tight boxing. But at the same time, Charles is also lankier. And the best thing about Charles, he's not afraid to be taken down.
Yes.
If you knock him down and go into his guard, he's to khushi.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. So, ladies and gentlemen, the analysis and the experts have made their predictions. You can make your predictions. Tag us, hashtag us on all platforms. Chips, what are your handles?
Yes, sir. My Instagram is at Arjun Chips and my Twitter is at the Mystic Chips. Guys, tag us, hashtag us, and definitely give us your predictions to let us know who's going to win, who's going to lose, or whatever you even think. Just tag us and be part of the conversation for your chance to win some awesome The Fighting GOAT merchandise.
Absolutely. And you can tag me on Instagram, somesh.kamra. And on Twitter, it is somesh_kamra. And on IVM Podcast, it's across all platforms. So you can make your predictions, make your choices, get a chance to win some exciting merchandise from us. And don't forget to download the Myntra app. Have a look at us this Friday, which is 10th of December at 3 p.m., 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Live shopping. We are going to be shopping live with you. We're going to be displaying some stuff, having some fun, having some crazy conversations, and hoping to get you outfitted in the perfect athlete leisure wear. Having said that, we are going to be signing off at the moment and see you same time, same place next week with another exciting episode of The Fighting GOATs.
Do you wonder why China does the things that it does? Or want to know how we could improve online privacy? Or perhaps you're thinking about how we can kickstart India's economy? If you'd like to search for the answers to such questions, check out All Things Policy, a daily public policy podcast that covers everything from employment figures to aircraft carriers. Tune in from Monday to Friday for new episodes and fresh takes.
A wise man once said, traveling, it makes you speechless, then turns you into a storyteller.
Well, listen to such travel stories and experiences exploring India on the Musafir Stories with us, Saif and Faiza.
Catch us on the IVM website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from.